Hello and welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. I told you this does not stop, not even for a single second. Welcome to Stories Written by a Current Prisoner. This is your friendly neighborhood journalist, Tony, just right here doing this thing, giving you an inside dive inside the mindset of California's death row inmates. This is exactly what we do. This is a platform for inmates to express themselves, but make no mistake about it. We are not about that lifestyle. We are not about the criminal lifestyle or for the gang culture or anything like that. We are 100% against that culture. I hope you learn from these individuals' mistakes, but make no mistake about it, man. These are real life testimonies coming from real life inmates serving real life sentences. So before we jump into this California interview from California's death row, San Quentin, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know about this book right here real quick. Tears of Blood, ladies and gentlemen, written by Ronald Shelton. I'm gonna go ahead and read you a message written for Mr. Shelton himself. And thank you to the subscriber that put us in contact a few months ago. Well, he recommended me to hit a Mr. Shelton, and we've been in contact for a few months now. And we have been in talks of a potential interview coming soon. So be on the lookout, ladies and gentlemen. Tears of Blood Salvation is about how God was able to break me down and build me back up as a Christian who has been walking in faith for the last 30 years. I wanted to make it clear that this book has nothing to do with my life of crimes that I am incarcerated for. The publication specifically expresses the spiritual experience and transformation that I had to endure to get to the point where I am today. It takes the reader through the exact steps to the best of my memory of how I went through the process of my soul being resurrected, being baptized through the fire and spirit, going through the invisible warfare, becoming a living white stone with my name written on it that is now part of God's temple. Through this deep journey, it would eventually subside on the quiet peace and tranquility would take control. The small, still voice from within giving guidance and direction. It led me to composing the 80 poems that are a spiritual embodiment, reflecting the genius and the beauty of our Maker. For those who would like to discuss this authentic and genuine transition from dark to light, please contact me at gtlgettingout.com, which is tablet texting, or write Ronnie Shelton, inmate number K-77012, or you can write him at MCIC/E/19/C/1042L, PO Box 4090990, Ione, California. You may get it free on Kindle for your computer, iPad, or cell phones. Amazon Plus members, Amazon.com. You pay $2.99, or you can buy a paperback for $12.95. I do not get a penny. I choose to donate all proceeds to victim services. Thank you. God bless you, Ronnie Shelton. Whew. Man, I haven't read a book in a while, as you can tell. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and pick up his book, man. Tears of Blood, written by Mr. Ronald Shelton. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, none of the proceeds go to him. If this is something you want to go ahead and check out, man, there it is. Hello and welcome to the hit show of Stories Written by a Current Prisoner with your favorite journalist, Tony. We're going to go ahead and waste no time whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen, because we are live from San Quentin, California's death row. I'm going to go ahead and ask you my four basic introduction questions. Go ahead and introduce you. Please hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Thank you for your support. For those of you who do hit that like button. So what did they call you?
They call me Lolo. My name is Daniel.
Where were you incarcerated for, and how long is your sentence?
I've been incarcerated since 2008, and I'm down for felony murder.
Where are you from out here on the streets?
Riverside County, Coachella Valley.
Do you or did you belong to any type of gangs, groups, organizations?
No, I didn't.
All right, Daniel, my friend, I'm going to go ahead and let you express yourself the way you want to express yourself. Of course, this is a platform for inmates to do exactly that. So I'm not going to go ahead and waste no time whatsoever. And, the floor is yours, Daniel. So go ahead and take your time, man, and let us know, man, exactly what it is you went through, man, and evidently, ultimately, landing you on death row. So the floor is yours, my friend.
All right, so as you already know, my name's Daniel. They call me Lolo. I came over with my parents at a real young age. They came over first, and then, they sent for me in Mexico. So I got here I was 10 years old. Started school. I would get in trouble, go back to Mexico. come back, and and I just kept on going like that back and forth until I picked up English pretty good, I guess. You know, so our goal dream was to have our own auto body shop, and my dad kind of did, started doing that, little by little until he had to close down for a minute, and then I was gonna reopen the shop in a better place after I had graduated from high school, which I just gotten married, and I was doing okay. I was working, and I just started getting involved with the wrong people, and everything just went wrong after that. Um, I got incarcerated. I did a 2-year term. I got out and came back over, and I started working from the bottom up again. And I started working in clubs and in construction, and saving up pretty good. And again, I got enticed and I got involved with the wrong people again. Um, Selling dope from one place to another, making deliveries or collecting whatever it was that I could do to come up with extra money. Um, since I wasn't involved or had any affiliation with any gangs, it was easier for me to go to any hood or any place I wanted to without having any problems or anybody telling me I couldn't be there. So that was that was one of the main things. And even though I did get a lot of invites to different gangs, I never got into them. And so I guess that was a good thing for me even after I got incarcerated. In After I got incarcerated in 2008 for felony murder, I didn't think I was gonna get the death penalty, but apparently back then this law that's on right now, felony murder, is, I guess they're taking it off the table, and giving not a lighter sentence, but it could carry life, even though, but they're not giving the death penalty for it anymore. So I'll have to wait many years before my appeal goes through and maybe get life. Um, Being incarcerated is, or getting, the death penalty. It's nothing easy. It comes with a lot of hurt, a lot of resentment. Um, it's something you could never explain once they give you that news. This is what you have, and you're sentenced to die. It's like someone dropping a bucket of cold water on you, and you just don't know what to say. You're just stuck. Um, you start
Do you feel you
thinking,
deserve the death penalty?
no, not at all, not at all. Um, I mean, I thought I was doing the right things out there in the world, even though I still did some bad stuff. But I could never say I could make up for the bad with the good I do. You know what I mean? It was never like that. Because once you start doing bad things, that's what you're gonna start doing no matter what. And
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
the good that you were doing is just put aside. They don't pay attention to that. And so I was shocked when they said that because I had quite a few people that were on my side, and they didn't take none of that in consideration. So even though I know I didn't deserve the death penalty, um, after a while here, I got to accept myself, for what I did, what I was doing wrong. Um, and then after I got this, I said, okay, well, if that's, the Lord's decision, then that's what it is. But it takes a lot. It takes a lot of time and a lot of looking into yourself and your life to see the wrong that you're doing or that you did. You just a lot of people don't accept none of that, you know. And we're always trying to blame others, you know, before we blame ourselves. And we're always with that thought in our heads that nobody understands us, only we understand ourselves, and we know what we got to do. And reality is, it's not like that. You know, people out there, you know, your families or friends, a lot of them do know what you're going through, or do know that you know that you want to do better, and they know you could do it, but just not the wrong way. And they might want you or tell you, but we're hard headed. We don't listen, and everything has to be our way or not. And we always carry this machismo on us that that doesn't let us open our eyes and see that things could be done a whole lot better, you know. And so that's kind of how I saw my life, you know, after I was here, you know, after many years. And I lost a lot of my family. My family um kind of turned away from me and went their own way after I got my sentence. And so for like 10 years, um, my family was never in the picture. So being here, I had to learn a lot of stuff, a lot how to do things that I didn't know how to do out there or that I was capable of. You just start picking up on things and learn little tricks how to do things and provide for yourself. You know, it's nothing to glorify, but it's something that you see later on. Damn, like I did that. You know, like I'm capable of that. You know, but that's just so you're telling yourself that you could be someone better. You could have done what you're doing in here, out there. You know, and I didn't think of it like that. I didn't know I could actually draw, which I picked up in here pretty good, and that's what I started doing here. I said, man, if I could have been doing, drawing in here, out there, doing murals, probably my life would have been a little bit different, But I never,
Daniel.
I never for that. I never pushed for that. I never thought I had it in me. I'm good at taking things apart.
Hey, Daniel, man. Can I ask you something, Daniel?
Yeah.
I'm very sorry that you find yourself, man, in this predicament, bro, man. But of course, it is my job to ask you these questions, and I have to ask you, what happened? Why are you on death row? What is this case about? What happened?
Well,
Can you break it down for us?
Yeah. My ex-wife now, who she is now, she told me, you don't go out, stay home, stay with me and the kids. And I had two full-time jobs at that time, and I'll go from one to the other. And so one night, I told her, look, I've been working so hard. I think I deserve a one night with my friends, And I went out. We were having some beers. We went from one bar to another, just shooting this. And next thing you know, I find myself lost in a place with people I didn't even know. Just from having beers. And one thing led to another. Someone someone innocent got killed. Um, and I ended up here with, basically not really having anything to do. I didn't know, what we were doing, anything like that. Everything just became like a blur. And after they told me that I had supposedly had helped someone commit a murder, man, I was like, when did that happen? Where was I when happened, and that was just from a one night out, from people that supposedly I knew, which in reality I didn't, you know.
How were you arrested, Daniel? That day that it happened, or were you arrested a little later?
I was arrested afterwards. I actually went to the jail because they said they had questions or whatever, and if I didn't have anything to fear, I would make it down there. So they never really arrested me until I went in for questioning, and that's when they arrested me. Because in reality, I didn't have nothing to do with the crime.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I never really did anything. How they said afterwards. I didn't do. We were out having beers. One thing led to another, and everything. To me, it was an accident. They didn't see it like that though.
So basically, what you're telling me is you had no memory, you had no idea whatsoever when they called you and they asked you to make an appearance for questioning. You had no idea, or did you already have an idea?
No, when they told me, what crime was committed, or if I had heard about it, I said, yeah, of course. Who hasn't? I have a paper. But it never.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Or think that I had something to do with it, how they were telling me. And I was like, nah, I know I didn't do none of that. I know I'm not guilty. So instead of going in and answering questions if I know I didn't do anything. But once I got in there, it was all bad.
Can you call me back?
Yeah, I'll call you right back.
So Daniel, would you be able to break down exactly how these cops or investigators or whatever you want to call them, how they approached you inside of that room when how did they present you this murder case? Did they ask you a few questions beforehand? Did they try to set you up in the line, try to catch you in one? Or did they right away immediately present you with this case and these charges?
No, well, they already had someone. I have a co-defendant on this case, but they had some of his friends already in questioning, and they thought they were involved. But one of them had got caught for a home invasion. So they wanted to know who was around his other friends the night that happened, and so he pointed me straight out just like that, and they cut him a deal on that home invasion, and basically just told him he wasn't the one, that I was the one that actually did it, because they didn't know who the hell I was or where I was until this guy told him.
So what exactly? No, go ahead.
Yeah, once they had me in the office, then that's when they told me what went down, who told them, and why. And so I was like, well, yes, you know what I mean. There was only two people that kind of knew me, and that knew that we were out that night, drinking. So nobody else could have given me up just like that,
And what kind of relationship did you have with this individual? The one that told on you? Is he a close friend? Is it someone that you really knew?
No, I barely even knew him. We barely even knew each other. Maybe that's why he gave me up so easily.
So Daniel, what exactly? Go ahead.
What happened? I said I know it's nothing really funny to be laughing about. Just like that, because I laugh. I just try to make a good sense of humor out of things. You know what I mean?
No, I completely understand. It's always best to see the brighter side of things. You know, I completely agree. Daniel, may I ask what exactly are they did they charge you with? Like, what are they accusing you of?
It's felony murder. Well, at first the judge just said he was going to charge both of us for murder. But then they looked at um, whoever fired the gun and weapons, fingerprints, the gunpowder residue, all that shit. And so after a while, they knew it wasn't me, but they still had me for murder one. And he said, "Well, I can't convict both. Both of them for murder." So that's when they gave me felony murder, and they gave me the same sentence that the other guy got, which is saying basically, since he did it, then I did it too. You know, I agreed for him to do it, which it was never nothing like that. But in their eyes, we're guilty no matter what.
And in their eyes, how did this whole thing play out? Like, in their eyes, what are the witnesses saying? What's in black and white? In their eyes, what do they believe happened?
They believe everything was planned and played out to their eyes. And that's how they saw it. And even though, you know, my attorney kind of tried to explain things, he just couldn't explain enough.
Did you have any relationship with the victim?
No, not at all. I didn't even know the victim.
How old was the victim?
Back then, I want to say, I think they said he was like in his 50s or something like that.
Oh, so this was a well-aged person. This was an older person.
Yeah.
And may I ask, what was there? Damn, my daughter's over talking. See, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry about that, Daniel. May I ask, Daniel, was there some type of significant piece of evidence that was the main determining factor that ultimately convicted you and sentenced to death row? Like, was there some type of overwhelming evidence that perhaps they were able to frame, or whatever the case, that they were able to put on you to ultimately convict you and put you away?
No, they didn't really have any evidence like that, none whatsoever. No, the judge already had his mind made up before we even went to trial. He knew what he wanted to give us, and there was no ifs or buts about it.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
My case right now is there's like about 200 cases they got to be sent back to court, because a lot of the stuff they did was wrong in all of them. There was coercion, there was falsification of evidence in a lot of other cases. I mean, you name it. They have recordings of my judge, you know, pretty much telling everybody else what he was going to give us. You know, stuff that he wasn't supposed to be talking about. We have recordings of all that, and he tried to destroy all that. He tried to get the officers from that jail destroy all that evidence, but by the time he did it, it was a little too late. Those recordings were given to another investigator, and even though he knew about it, he still went ahead and sentenced me to death.
May I ask, Daniel? I'm sure there must have been some type of rumor. I'm sure that, you know, years after the fact, you have heard something different. May I ask, what is your version of things that took place? You know, what really happened based off your recollection?
Like I said, we were out drinking, we were out having a good time, going from one place to another. There was a couple, I want to say like about 7 of us all together just drinking, having fun. And we ended up in
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
we ended up in the gated community and going to another party, and we got lost. And I don't even know how this guy ended up in front of us or getting killed the way he did. To me, all that it was like a dream. Like I would wake up and I would go back to sleep. That's kind of how it felt. And since I know I didn't do anything wrong, you know how they made it seem. I didn't have nothing to hide. I know I didn't do nothing wrong, you know. So I went in for questioning, and they already had basically everything already laid out. All their plans and everything.
How was he killed, Daniel? Like how was he murdered?
Execution style, one to the head and one to the heart.
Whatever happened to that individual who you said cooperated? You said he basically just got the home invasion charge dismissed, or did he end up getting charged in this case as well as an accessory or anything like that?
No, they gave him a real life sentence because I guess back then, or I don't know if it still does, but home invasion it could carry a life sentence. And so I guess they took the life sentence off of him and gave him a release date with a not so large sentence.
I know you're saying that you're innocent, Daniel, and I don't doubt you one bit. But is there any way possible that perhaps maybe you were blanked out, maybe you were so out of it? Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that this actually did take place? That perhaps you really are guilty, or do you believe firmly 100% that you are innocent?
100%. 100%. I know I didn't do anything how they put it out there. You know, they made up this big old story because it was already sold. It was already sold to the papers, and they wanted to keep that story. So that's how they made me and my co-defendant look, because they already had thrown a lot of dirt on me from other cases that I had nothing to do with. So by them doing that and all the witnesses showing up and saying I was never there, they didn't even know who I was. So everything kind of was going my way, because I wasn't guilty of anything. There was no witnesses. There was nothing. And until the end, he just made up his mind of what was going to happen. You know, what sentence he was going to give us.
I'm assuming they arrested you right there at the station, and you were basically detained. May I ask what that first conversation? Was like, perhaps with your wife? You know, how did you have to inform her that you were being charged with murder? And how did everything play out? I'm sure you were working. How was she supposed to take care of bills? Like, what was your family's reaction to this?
She was shocked. She thought I was because I didn't call over, you know, overnight. I was there for overnight. So the next day, when I called, she was like, "God damn it! Like, you know, what the hell's going on?" And so I tried to explain to her, and it wasn't sinking into her until afterwards. You know, I guess she really saw, the motherfucker is serious about it. I guess she thought I was just joking or something. But as soon as she realized the I want to say the severity of the case and what was going to happen, we got divorced.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
We got divorced within the first year, and she went her way and got remarried, and I stayed here.
May I ask how that affected you mentally? Did you expect her to Did you expect for the relationship to fall apart the way that it did, or were you hoping that she would ride with you, through the storm?
Oh yeah, I mean, I really wanted her. I really wanted her to stand by my side, but it wasn't happening. And after that, I wished her the best. I mean, I wasn't gonna hold her down. She didn't want to be with me anymore. So.
Do you still love her?
No.
Like, do you still care about her? You still think about her?
Yeah, I mean, I care about her, but I don't love her.